Today we start section on Vipassana, particular Manasikara. Yesterday we discussed up to Sampajanya. Okay, today we start with particular Manasikara. Now this title itself is contemplating of the body, foulness, the bodily parts. It is very clear. Bodily parts, there are actually 31 parts, we call 32 parts. In original discourses, we find only 31 parts. Later, in commentarial material, we find that one part added, that is brain. Which is not here. Anyway, the 32 parts here. Again, a bhikkhu reviews this very body upwards from the soles of the feet, downwards from the tips of the hairs, enclosed in skin, as full of many kinds of impurities. There are in this body head hairs, body hairs, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, bone marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, pleura, as spleen, lungs, large intestine, small intestine, and undigested food in the stomach, feces, biles, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, grease, saliva, mucus, synovial fluid, and urine. These are the 31 parts. One part is not here, that is the part called brain. In later books we can see brain also added. Since brain is also a part of a body, therefore they found it dividing this 31 into two categories, two elements, earth elements and water elements. So brain must go to the earth element. So they stuck this after feces, brain. That is how we have 32 parts. Now, particular is, common translation is foulness, but particular actually is going against the grain. You know, anukula going with the grain. Particular is going against the grain. Because this is not how we look at our body. When we do not understand this properly, misunderstanding can lead to various distorted perception. distorted perception. When we understand it correctly, then we can use this as a most beneficial, meaningful mindfulness practice. There are various, at least 3 places in text and commentaries we find the stories based on misunderstanding of these parts of the body, and because of the distorted perception. One story is in Dhammapada commentary. Venerable Sariputta had a student who was full of lust. So Venerable Sariputta gave him this subject, asking him to meditate on 32 or 31 parts of the body. This monk was meditating alone in a forest. While he was meditating, his lust increased rather than decreasing. So he went back to Sariputta and said, Venerable, so it is not working for me. Instead of my lust decreasing, it increases. We don't know whether he focused the mind on wrong body or his own body. His lust increased. So Sariputta said, no, this is a good subject for you, go back and practice again. Second time he returned with the same story. Again Sariputta sent him back. Third time he sent back, telling him the same thing. Then finally, even Sariputta could not give him an appropriate subject to overcome his lust. This is considered to be a subject that one should practice to overcome lust. But this very subject did not work for him, because he was practicing it incorrectly, with wrong or distorted perception. Then Sariputta took him to the Buddha. Buddha, instead of giving him an unattractive subject to meditate, he realized that this man has been a goldsmith. All his life, in his adult life, his job was as a goldsmith. So Buddha realized this man likes something very attractive, beautiful. So he gave him a flower. Commentary says that the Buddha created the flower and gave him lotus flower. Buddha did not have to create flowers, because his chamber, his kuti was full of flowers, because people came to see him every day with flowers. That is why his chamber is called Gandha Kuti. Gandha Kuti means perfumed chamber. He did not use these modern perfumes, but because of the flowers. So he took one of the fresh flowers and gave to this monk, asking him to sit near a pond and stick it in the ground and, looking at it, meditate. While he was meditating on it, he saw in this hot, scorching sun, this flower was slowly withering, fading its color, and the petals were falling, leaves were falling, the stalk was bending and falling on the ground. Seeing this, he realized this body also is like this, impermanent. And he said that he attained enlightenment. So you can see he was so confused with regard to the parts of the body that he, instead of reducing his lust, he increased it. That is commentarial story. But there are 2 other stories, one in Samyutta Nikaya, one in the Vinaya. Samyutta Nikaya story is just before Anapanasati Sutta. In Samyutta Nikaya there is a Anapanasati Sutta, just like in Majjhima Nikaya. Buddha praised the practice of foulness of the body, explained it. He praised it very, very well, and he said this is one of the best subjects for meditation, and he gave a long discourse to bhikkhus explaining the benefit, beauty, advantage of practicing mindfulness of the part of the body. And he said, bhikkhus, I want to take 2 weeks vacation or retreat, half a month retreat. So he went away. When he returned after 2 weeks, he found many, many monks missing. So he asked Ananda, what happened? He said, Venerable Sir, you taught us to practice the foul meditation on foulness, and when you left, these monks were practicing very ardently, very sincerely, sitting alone under trees, focusing on the parts of the body, these 31 parts of the body, and they felt, some of them, they were arahants, anagamis, sakadagamis, and sotapannas, and ordinary monks. These 5 categories of monks were there. But ordinary monks, when they were practicing this, thinking this body is ugly, dirty, stinky, and unpleasant, and repulsive, and this and that, they felt as if a young, beautiful woman or man having a dead carcass around their neck. They felt very, very bad about the body. So according to Vinaya Mahavagga, when we explain the 3rd Parajika, in that section you can see the story. And there, some monks became suicidal, others homicidal. Suicidals, they thought this ugly, I don't want to live in this body. They took their own razor and cut their head and killed. Others were little, afraid to kill themselves. They found a very sort of sham monk called Migalandika. They went to him and said, Migalandika, this body is ugly, dirty, repulsive, stinky, we don't want to have this body. Could you take this razor and cut our head? This, and said, you take our robes and balls, go to the market and sell and get some money. So this fellow thought, yes. He cut heads of several monks, 5, 6, 10 a day. And then finally he felt so bad, so one day he went to a river nearby to wash his knife. Then it is said that one of his relatives was born as a deity in that area. So he came out and said, don't feel bad, you did a wonderful thing. You can get money, you can let them attain enlightenment. Go back and do it. So he went back and he went from kuti to kuti. This is a report, I got it from, it is in Pali, in Vinaya Pitaka, Parajika 3. He went back and went from kuti to kuti. Do you want to attain enlightenment? I can send you to enlightenment. Cut his head. So he went from kuti to kuti and killed many, many monks. When Buddha came back, he saw many monks missing. So when Ananda told him the story. They said, call this monk for a meeting. So he gathered all the monks, and without saying anything about foulness of the body, he straight away taught mindfulness of breathing. Completely different subject. Now, you can see in Samyutta Nikaya, Vinaya Pitaka, and Dhammapada commentary. And of course in Papancha Sudhani, in Madhyama Nikaya commentary, and Sarata Padipika, Anguttara commentary, Samyutta commentary. We can see elaborated stories, but original stories are there. Now, why is that? Because of distorted perception. Now, we look at the Buddha's own explanation. After saying, he said, just as though there were a bag with an opening at both ends full of many sorts of grains, such as hill rice, red rice, beans, peas, millet, and white rice, and a man with good eyes were to open it and review it thus: this is hill rice, this is red rice, there are beans, these are peas, this is millet, this is white rice. So too, a bhikkhu reviews this very body upward from the soles of the feet, downwards from the tips of the hairs, enclosed in skin as full of many kinds of impurities. There are in this body and so forth. The list is given again. Now what does this mean? See the simile Buddha gave, the example. In this example, there are names of various types of grains. This man with good eyesight take it outside, open it, and then he reviews them, he identifies them and say, this is hill rice. He doesn't say, this is hill rice, I hate it. This is red rice, I love red rice. He simply identified. It is exactly with impartial mind. Just like a scientist, you give a little bit of feces to a biologist or chemist or whoever does experiment in the lab to find out what kind of things are in the little piece amount of feces, iron, cancer cells, or diabetes, whatever he wants to find out. If he wants to find out some kind of disease to diagnose very well, he simply examines it to understand it exactly as it is. You can see people who perform autopsy. When they perform autopsy, they don't feel very bad and run away from it, because when you cut up the body, there are all kind of things inside. They can see, the biologists, pathologists, doctors who cut up the body in various ways. They don't run away from it because of the smell. They just examine them exact to know what they are, how they are, what the problem is, and so forth. Similarly, you see in Majjhima Nikaya, Indriya Vibhanga Sutta, the last discourse, I think last discourse maybe, Buddha said, when you see repulsive in unrepulsive, you can see repulsiveness in it. When you see repulsiveness, if you want to see unrepulsiveness in repulsiveness, you see unrepulsiveness in repulsiveness. And so forth, you can see that in the discourse. That means the person has come, the meditator has come to a stage where the mind is equanimous. In that equanimous state, we don't see anything ugly or beautiful. We want to see them exactly as they are. Now, let us see what are the parts. First part, beginning with head hairs, body hairs, nails, teeth, and skin. 5. This is what is called Tacha Panchaka. The first 5, ending with skin. This is what, when you ordain, full ordination, these are the 5 you repeat. Kesa, when you attain novice ordination. Kesa, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacho. Why did the Buddha start with this? Because these are the 5 we can see of any person. When we see a person, these are the 5 things we see. We see head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, and skin. If they smile, we can see the teeth. If they don't smile, normally you cannot hide teeth. You will see the teeth. Now, sometimes we think this body is beautiful. When you look in the mirror, young, handsome or beautiful, you are very proud. When you look in the mirror, if you feel that you are not handsome, nor beautiful, unpleasant, then you feel unhappy. That is face in general. We don't look at the body. We look at the face. And we conclude that either I am beautiful or I am ugly. Nothing in between. We are not ugly or beautiful. We are as we are. Ugliness and beauty are the mental creation. That is the perception. We perceive this in certain way and conclude in certain way. You know, it is very common sense understanding. Head hair. People think of head hair such a beautiful thing. In Indian tradition, long hair is one of the beauty, mark the beauties of a woman. If the hair touches the floor as she is moving, sweeping the floor, oh, she is the most beautiful one. In the Western culture, nice looking hair, beautiful looking hair is a sign of attraction, beauty. So they are hair specialists. You go to them. People talk about latest haircut and hairstyle. Go and do all sort of things. Come back and look in the mirror. Oh, so when you go to a party, first thing you do, go and see the hair specialist. Of course, when we go out, we shave our head like this. Because we as monks don't care. But lay people, hair is a very, very important thing. Head hair. Beard, those who have beard, they cut beard in various ways. We can see, just to make them attractive or beautiful. Actually, when we look at the hair, very more realistically, if you don't wash it for 2-3 days, you see it is oily, stinky. Actually, I have one day a hair specialist told me that when she want to make somebody's hair, first thing they put shampoo because it is so stinky. They cannot get close. Inside there is a dandruff, sometimes lice, dirt, dead hair, all are accumulated in the head. But they clean it, and then we think that we are beautiful, handsome. When hair started falling, then we feel very embarrassed and trying to cover the